Well, hello gamers, welcome back to the channel again, and in this video I will be talking about if you should pull the latest character Loki or not into Marvel Mystic Mayhem. Now without wasting any more time, let's directly go into the Dreamweaver section, and as you can see here you will get uncountable amount of banners in here if you are a second grader, but still it's a lot of banner. Since especially looking at the great keys that we are getting for free, it's hell lot of banner. You will find Loki at the very top and you have 18 days to pull Loki from this section. And if you go over details, there is Loki here who have 50% chance, which is a rate up, and you have 2-star heroes Dream Queen and Angela as the rate up for this banner. Now you have all of the other usual heroes except for two Fantastic Four members that still have their banners going on, and Moon Girl is not here. This is it. And now let's check out his highlight. His highlight will increase his attack by 25% when allies deal damage to enemies in wet, electrified, burning and frozen status, and crit rate increased by 10%. Now if it is equipped by Loki, it will deal 40% more critical damage while transformed into Destroyer Loki. Spoiler alert, Destroyer Loki is his ultimate form. It means whenever he transforms to his ultimate, he will deal 40% more critical damage. Now with this, let's have some details about the character. Now into the details section, we can see so many information. He is energy typing character and he falls under the controller category, which is a bit of a scam I feel like. Now let's move on to the cards or the talent or the skill detailing. First we have his passive Chill Pact, which will reduce the enemy defense by 24% if their status is wet, electrified, burning or frozen. Now it will be great for his allies like Thor or Storm, Johnny Storm, who is a Human Torch. Yeah, if you use those characters, it is going to be greatly beneficial for you. And you have, as usual, 45% of Loki's attack as special damage. And other one, we have Frost Giant. When a frozen enemy is present, destroy Loki's skill Harbinger of Ragnarok, cost 1 less mana. First, you might be confused, where is this Harbinger of Ragnarok? Because there is nothing like that. I was feeling like this. I'll be explaining it in a minute, but it basically means whenever there is an enemy with the frozen debuff into the battlefield, you are basically going to get your 3 mana costing skills for 2 mana, because it cuts the cost of 1 mana because of this First Giant stat bonus. Now another, we have Cheating Death. When taking fatal damage, retains 1 HP and gains a shield equal to 30% of max HP once per battle. And remember, it is only for himself, not for the allies. Now we have Liar Liar. So for each wet, electrified, burning, frozen enemy, Loki's crit rate increased by 5% up to 25. So if there are any of these affected enemies present into the battlefield, Loki's crit rate is going to go up on the basis of the enemies number present on the battlefield. If there are 5 enemies, the crit rate is going to be 25. If there are 4 enemies, it's going to be 20, and it will stack up depending on the enemy. But if you have 6, it cannot be 30 because it caps at 25. So this is all about this one. Now let's move on to card, which is skills. First one is Ice from Jotun or Jotun, whatever you would like to call it. Okay, this is the debuff skill, which will deal special damage. It deals 448% of Loki's attack as special damage to enemies in the target area and applies frozen for 10 seconds. So it will deal 448% and applies frozen. And there comes this part where Chill Pact is reducing the enemy defense by 24%, which is affected by frozen, and this will affect the enemy with the frozen. So enemy's defense is already down for 24%, and it will be great help if there is a high damage dealer. You can boom strike the enemy and receive a great amount of damage. Okay, and we have Mischief, which is summoning. Loki is basically a summoning character. I forget to tell you at the very start. I don't know what am I doing. I hope I might be explaining you these things clearly. And the Mischief will summon a clone that continuously taunts enemy. Up to one clone can exist simultaneously, and the clone has 20% of Loki's max HP and 100% of his attack and defense. When the clone is defeated, Loki gains 96% ultimate energy. Now 96% of ultimate energy is the best, the huge part about this summoning skills, because unlike many characters, Loki's energy for the ultimate skill cost only 300 instead of 400, and 96 is basically 1/3 of the 300. Now with this, let's read his ultimate skill, which is Fiddle the Fate. Now this cost 300 ultimate energy, and it transformed Loki into Destroyer Loki and gains 2 stacks of Strings of Fate. Okay, remember this one carefully, listen it. His skill changed to Iceberg of Jotun and Harbinger of Ragnarok. Now whenever you will use the ultimate of Loki, it is going to change these 2 skills into another skill. First one, this Ice from Jotun, Ice from or form? Yeah, Ice from Jotun will be changed into Iceberg of Jotun, and this summoning Mischief will change into Harbinger of Ragnarok, and each skill will consume 1 stack of Strings of Fate for use, meaning 2 stack of String of Fate is what he will have after using the ultimate skill. And whenever you use any of these Iceberg of Jotun and Harbinger of Ragnarok, Strings of Fate will be consumed. That means you can use any of these skills 2 times after transforming into ultimate. Now let's read the skill description. Iceberg of Jotun, which is this skill after transforming into ultimate, will deal 544% of Destroy Loki's attack as special damage to enemy and in the target area, and applies frozen for 10 seconds. Other are same, just his attack percentage will increase by 100%, a little bit more than that. And we have Harbinger of Ragnarok, which will deal 1024% of Destroyer Loki's attack as special damage. That's huge to enemies in the target area, and 30% more damage to frozen enemy. Now, if you have a character like Storm in team, and if you use her debuff and use this skill, it is going to do huge amount of damage, but sadly he's not going to summon any of the Loki unit because he's into ultimate move. And now I would like to explain this one. When a frozen enemy is present, destroy Loki's skill Harbinger of Ragnarok cost 1 less mana. So Harbinger of Ragnarok is basically the skill which will change after using the ultimate skill, so that is going to cost 1 less mana. His skills on paper looks great, absolutely, especially after the damage percentage and number after turning to the ultimate, but there is not a lot of team formation that you can use with him. If you have really good Thor, really strong and defensive one, and a big time Storm user, you can make him work. Otherwise there is not a category for him to fall. He basically feels like a false or the fake controller, because he's more like a DPS character from whatever we have seen till now. Even his Soul Saga doesn't feel the way the controller category feels. His Heart one, which reads, when the Mischief clone is defeated, it deals 200% of its attack and special damage to nearby enemy, and applies frozen for 10 seconds. So it basically means whenever you use this one and summon the unit and he will die, it is basically going to do 200% more attack as special damage, and that's a huge burst of damage, don't get me wrong, but that's not the controller thing, you know. And dealing damage to frozen enemies, increase crit rate as usual, and energy generation increase. And you have this one, it's great for his defense and attack both, and his attack increased by 15%. Now this one, when the Mischief clone is defeated, other allies also gain ultimate energy. So this one is really huge. If you remember the cards or the skill correctly, whenever you use summon and summoned unit dies, he will give 96% of ultimate energy for Loki. Now if you do his Soul Saga Heart 3, whenever his clone gets defeated, all of the allies into the team will get 96 mana, and that's really huge. And his main soul, the last Soul Saga part, if you do that, Fiddle the Fate gains 1 additional stack of Strings of Fate. That means whenever you use this ultimate move, Fiddle the Fate, you are basically getting 2 stack of Strings of Fate, which will allow you to use 2 of these attacks after transforming into Destroyer Loki. Now from all this, which we can conclude by now, is that if you can manage to get his Heart 3 or this hard one, you basically have to do the hard one to do hard 3. So if you can manage to get his hard 3 or the main Soul Saga completed, then the character might be worth as a DPS and a pseudo controller type character. But as of now, investing that much into Loki, don't get me wrong, he's really good character, but there's not much of use for him. You cannot form any team. I can't think of any team out of Thor, Loki and Storm in a team. Even that team, if you make that team, your Thor has to be really strong and all this stuff. So for now, I guess Loki is probably a skip, a hard skip. If you really like Loki, which everybody does, to be honest, you can pull for him, but as of now, he doesn't have much of the use in game. He looks cool, his skills sound really awesome, he sounds really fun to play, but looking at the current status of game, there won't be much of great keys into the future, so I would suggest you to probably save up and for the future character. Now let's have a look at the Loki skills that we described, if that works similarly or not, or I just got clowned. I just read it all wrong. Okay, so we have summoned our first unit and his debuff has a huge AoE. Okay, what was this skill doing? I don't even remember. Just now I read it. So yeah, that was good. Why did I use that? I didn't mean to use that. Sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to use that. Okay, now I am going to transform me into the Destroyer Loki. Okay, this is it, yeah. I am using Emma Frost Ultimate just to wipe out these, and I can try Loki's other skill after this. I will probably use this heal too, and then we are going to use the debuff. As you can see, it does a huge amount of burst, and as I already told you while explaining the skills, whenever Loki applies frozen to any of the enemies into the battlefield, as you can see here, enemy is applied frozen debuff. This mana, which was previously costing 3, this skill, which was previously costing 3 mana, now costs 2 mana only. So this is what that stat bonus does, and that does great damage. And as you can see here, 2 of his ultimate energies buff, I forget the name already. So whenever you done using that, your Loki transform to the normal Loki, regular Loki, I'd say. which Hulk beats into the Avenger, if you remember. that that was good. I don't mean to use any of these. I'm just randomly tapping into that mistakenly, if I have to use the correct word for that. And I will finish the battle now because there are not much to see here, to be honest. I have already explained you a lot about the skills. Now his debuff. This, if I use his ultimate skill, another thing to notice here is that if you have previously existing skill of his that you can use, that will be destroyed in order to replace with the another skill, as you can see here. But sometimes his skills will not appear into this section and only other character's skill will appear, and that might really be problematic sometimes. So as you can see, that deals huge damage and you will get a less costing skill. So this is really great. You can see his damage, but he's not providing any of the buffs like other controller. So as a conclusion, I would like to say, if you really in need of the controller, you should go for Visible Woman, or even if you have Doctor Strange, you can work with him and wait for other characters to be introduced, and let's see if they are going to be better than these characters or not. And other thing is, his highlights is not that great because we don't really have a place where we can really make Loki shine or something. So that's really about it. I hope you understand here what I am trying to convey. And with this, I will end the video with some of these Saruki pulls, and I will do one of these in this video. So behold my luck. And one little tip for you here, if you are pulling into any of these banner, always do 5 summons. Because if you do only one summon, you cannot ever complete the achievement, because there is 2 achievements. One is receiving 2 characters or summoning 2 character from a single 5 pull, and getting all 5 characters from a single 5 pull, I believe. So if you do one single thing, you cannot ever complete it. If you are going to summon, always do 5 summons like this. Okay, 15 pulls, we didn't get anything. That's really bad. I really need Captain America, and I don't want to spend a single penny. So this game is not for greedy, because the game itself is greedy, and there cannot be too greedy at the same room or something. Why am I talking like crazy? So I really hope to get Thor, and if I get Thor, I might think about pulling Loki later, but let's see. Wow, the big jugs. I shouldn't be naming characters like that. This is crazy. Okay, a new controller, and even more reason for not to pull Loki. Okay, and I kid you not, I didn't need any of the controller. Now what will I do by saving these 2 Sadoki? I am giving tips to other and not following myself. Okay, it will be crazy if I pull any of the 3-star. Even if I pull 2-star, that would be crazy in one summon. So this is all for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I tried to make it funny, and somehow I made it even cringier than making it funny. But if you liked it, don't forget to share it with your friends. That will help the channel greatly, and I'll be seeing you into the other video. Thank you for watching this one.